we have to bring on Kevin Kincaid because his boy, Carson Wentz, was released.
Oh, fuck off.
Cut. His boy got cut.
Yeah,
He's going to be on his fourth team in 4 years, fourth team in 7 years. He holds a 46-45-1 career record. He had 16,000 passing yards in his 68 games with the Eagles. Kev, he's had 6,000 since, but you know what? Who cares? He's made $105 million. The guy's going to be perfectly fine. How you feeling today? I know it's a tough one for you. It was raining all last night. It's kind of foggy out right now, and your boy Carson Wentz got cut.
Why is Carson Wentz my boy? Because I don't hate his guts. Because this is your logic. This is you and Bob, Investor Mike's logic. It's like, Kincaid doesn't hate Carson Wentz's guts with every fiber of his being. So that means he's a Carson Wentz supporter. You know,
Carson Wentz apologist.
Oh, an apologist, right? Because I pointed out that in 2019 he had nobody to throw to. You know, you guys are incapable of doing any kind of. You turn into WIP callers when it comes to Carson Wentz. You guys probably all got together last night. You did the circle jerk. You and Bob and Mike. Oh, Carson Wentz got released. Oh, you know, like Beavis and Butthead. You're probably sitting there saying like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking jerk off this." You know?
Played the soggy Carson Wentz first one, last one to lose has to eat
fucking weirdos with the Carson Wentz stuff, man. It's so crazy. I've never people just hate the dude more than anything. You know,
he's a bona fide zit neck 1,000% loser. He is a loser.
I don't disagree, but you can say that and also say that his best receiver in 2019 was a tight end.
Was Zach Ertz in the top 11 rushing attack?
One thing can be true. More than one thing can be true. Nuance. It's like people get such a raging boner, anti-Wentz boner. It's just crazy to me. The dude hasn't played here in 2 seasons, 2 full seasons. You know.
So, no, see now you're being a Crossing Broad Facebook commenter who yells at us when we write stories about Carson Wentz and Ben Simmons. We're like, move on. They're not here anymore.
The people have showed by patterns of web traffic and whatnot that they're still interested in the story. I'm not. I don't give a shit about it one way or another. But people obviously want to know what's going on with him. They want to know what's going on with Ben Simmons. They want to know what's going on with all these other people. So I don't set the editorial guidelines for Crossing Broad based on what I like or what I want to do. I look at what people read and what people seem to be interested in, and then I do it that way. You know,
the people's editor. I like that.
Yeah.
No, 2019, going back to 2019. And I've said this before. I hate Carson Wentz. I hate Ben Simmons, and I will continue to hate them for as long as they have a career in pro sports. I will follow them to the depths of hell, and I will cheer for everything bad that's happened to them. And I am coming out smelling like roses right now. Back to that 2019 thing, though. I mean, the dude beat 4 teams that were a combined 15-33 at the end of the season. I know people he never had a weapon. There's that stat out there that's he's the first quarterback ever to throw for 4,000 yards and not have a receiver with 500 yards receiving. I think Alshon had 490 or something like that. But he had a top 11 rushing attack between Miles Sanders. Had a great year, 1,300 all-purpose yards from the scrimmage. I didn't know that. And then number one, he had Dallas Goedert also had 600 yards, and Zach Ertz had 900 yards. And then he had a number one offensive line. I hate that take. I hate the take that we don't win the Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. I think we don't win the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz. I think.
Oh, fuck off!
No.
Fucking bullshit.
Here we go. Without Wentz, we don't win the Super Bowl.
No, that is so fucking bullshit. No, you're sitting here and saying oh well, I don't think Wentz would have beaten Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Man, nobody thought Nick Foles was going to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl.
That should tell you right there. Anyone could have been under center. Anyone could have been under center and won that year.
You tell me that the Carson Wentz at his peak in 2017, if he had continued playing at that level, was going to lose to Tom Brady. And so nobody knows. Nobody can say for sure. But the fact of the matter is that when he left injured at the end of that run, they were 11-2. And because of his play and the play of the defense in the regular season, it helped set Nick Foles up with the number 1 seed. And then the rest is history. Why is it so hard to give credit to both of those guys and say that?
Because
that's what I'm saying. The Carson Wentz people won't give any credit for anything. It's you're on one side of the political spectrum where all the liberals think anybody in the middle is a raging MAGA, and everybody on the right thinks people in the middle are libtards or something like that. It's you guys are incapable of using any kind of applying any kind of nuance to the argument, because you think that anybody who makes a point that is can be construed as somewhat defending Carson Wentz is a Carson Wentz apologist or some shit.
No. Let's put some nuance to the table. Darren Sproles having to step to Carson Wentz for Carson Wentz being pissed off that the Eagles were having success without him.
That's stupid,
Probably,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably rooting against Nick Foles again in the 2018 playoffs when the ball went through Alshon Jeffrey's hands and they probably beat the Saints because they're driving there and they go on to win the Super Bowl for back-to-back Nick Folesian Super Bowls. Then you also have the Jalen Hurts pick. Now, he was all upset about that. The dude hadn't finished a season 3 out of the 4 seasons that he was in the league. So it's like there's your nuance right there of telling you that like Carson Wentz probably does not beat Tom Brady because I don't think he has it between the ears. I mean, listen, I think
total fucking hypothetical. Nobody
shut
knows
up.
he didn't play in the he didn't play in the game. Like people say, oh, they're not. You know,
Okay,
I mean,
then a hypothetical is
nobody
win.
nobody going into that game had this overwhelming thought that Nick Foles was going to play the game of his life and beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. By the way, Brady threw for 500 yards in that game anyway, so the defense was the story. But everybody thinks that like, you guys talk about Carson Wentz like he's like Christian Hackenberg or something. And it's like he's not. I know no Carson Wentz apologist ever said that he was like the second coming of Joe Montana. But like in that 2019 season,
he was John Elway reincarnated. He was John Elway.
In 2017, he was not in 2018 or 2019.
No, not in 2018 or 19.
They were 9 and
you also got to
finished
look at
9 and
the
7.
offensive
They finished
coordinators.
9 and 7, and they went to the playoffs. It wasn't like it was like, you know, Sam. It wasn't like it was like Zach Wilson with the Jets. You know, nobody was sitting there saying that it was like, you know, that he's the greatest thing ever in 2019. We all saw the downturn just like anybody else did, but people were talking about this dude like he did something personal to you guys, you know, because it was like he's the worst person ever. I'm so like offended by this person. Carson Wentz makes me want to kill myself. I'm like, dude, it's just like a quarterback of the team, man. It's like there's probably something in the middle here, you know?
He did offend me. He offended me because I put all my eggs in one basket and he was supposed to be my franchise quarterback for the next 15 years. What I don't like is the people that are saying that we never won a Super Bowl without him, and they just go back to the 2019, that 4 wins that just absolutely.
No, it's not the take. The take is not that. The take is not that we would not have won a Super Bowl without Carson Wentz. The take is that he deserves credit. He deserves credit for what he contributed to that team. Like he played a significant role in setting them up in a position where they got the Falcons at home and where they got the Vikings at home. Right. I mean, that was.
And then tried to internally be a virus in the locker room.
I mean, look, you can go back and we can, you know, talk about Santa Laquito's article and all that stuff. I don't think there was anybody out there who was like sitting here saying that, you know, Carson, like disputing, saying, no, he's a great guy. I mean, the dude, he's obviously like
Everyone
a weirdo.
Everyone disputed that.
No, what I'm saying, you're not listening to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, he's not some like piece of shit. Right. Okay. He's just like awkward and like a little selfish, and he didn't get along with dudes in the locker room. But the dude did charity shit in this town. He's not some like total zero. Right. Okay. He was not a good locker room leader by all accounts and reports and anecdotal stories. Like he was a little selfish and immature, and that's fine. Nobody really like disputed that. I'm just saying you guys were treating him like he was like some like total piece of shit loser. When he wasn't. He was just like a country bumpkin doofus who really didn't fit in well here and wasn't a good locker room guy. So that's all there is to it. I mean, you guys treat it like he's the worst person in the world. I'm like,
piece of shit, no. Piece of shit, no.
Okay.
Loser. Yes.
That's fine. That's fine. That's all I've ever wanted anybody to say. It's like, you know, I hear all this stuff about he's got neck zits and he shoots ducks and he is like a North Dakota asshole or something. I'm like, okay,
well North Dakota hick.
Okay, well, there's a lot of people in Berks County who are like that too. Okay, and they're Eagles fans. So
if they could throw the ball 70 yards, and they rooted against the Eagles when they got injured and their backup came in, and then was on their 4th team in 7 years or 4th team in 4 years, but still made $105 million, I'd call them a loser too.